Kia ora ana tātou, katoa toa, Nissan Bulavanaka. It's my absolute privilege to be here. Standing in front of you all as your Flying Fijians assistant coach. I just love what's happening here. So well done to our chairman, our CEO, and Nava, leader of high performance, for bringing the army together. Never go to war with half an army. So it's good to see everybody together in this room, learning from each other. I might just do a quick intro for Terry so I can keep moving. So this is Terry Williamson over here. He's the Crusaders team operations manager, and he's also the Flying Fijians manager and the Canterbury Rugby Union team manager as well. So he's been in the game for about 25 years. I first met Terry back in the late 90s. He was the DB rep. So that connection through a supplier led Terry to being part of the Crusaders, and he's been part of the fabric and the DNA of the Crusaders for the last 25 years. A little bit about me. I'm born and bred Cantabrian, so this is my area on the Banks Peninsula of the South Island, Christchurch. My bloodlines, my father's New Zealand European, so I have French blood, I have Scottish blood, but my mother comes from the Cook Islands. So my mother's Kukiairani and Tahitian blood, and also a little bit of Samoan blood in there as well. So as most New Zealanders, I'm a bit of a fruit salad, a bit of a mixture of races. I don't think I have any Fijian blood in me, but very proud to represent the Flying Fijians and be a part of what we're building here. This is my family. I'm a father of four, first and foremost. People talk about what your most important job is. This is my most important job. This is my wife in the middle in the white, Felix, my oldest boy, Zoe, Ivy down here in the orange, and Hugo. So they're my babies. That's my why. And having their support allows me to be here today and do what I love doing. So what else do I do? Rugby's a part-time thing for me at the moment. It's been part of my life since as long as I can remember. 3 years ago I decided to branch out and do some different stuff and use a lot of those skills that I've picked up through rugby and through my life experience to help build other teams. So I love this stuff. I love being here and passing on the knowledge, passing on whatever gifts I can today, and that's how I was led as a young man rising up through the ranks. So this is one of the teams that I work with in Christchurch. This is a recruitment company that I work with. This is obviously my role, real passion of mine, so I get to do what I love doing with the Flying Fijian boys. And my wife and I run a restaurant back in Christchurch as well. So it's a pretty busy life, pretty full life, but one I'm really privileged to have. As I said before, rugby has been a huge part of my life for as long as I can remember. And it's been a real privilege for me to have travelled the world. And through those experiences in rugby, like life for all of us, you experience the ups and downs. So we're asked today to present about the Crusaders' high performance model and the Crusaders' leadership. But I really want you to think about every time we're talking about some of those experiences that I might have had or Terry might have had, how do we link that back to growing Fiji rugby? How do we link that back to us being better as we journey forward and try to become the number one team in the world? A few of those ups and downs for me. This is me, part of the Crusaders team in 2002. That's a real high for me, being connected to a team that I grew up watching, Canterbury initially, and then when the Crusaders come along. I got named in the All Blacks the same day as my brother in 2001. So a pretty special moment. So you go through life and you have lots of these amazing experiences at the top. Down the bottom here, so one of the lows, this is me, 34 years old. I get appointed as head coach of Leicester Tigers. I do 2 years over there, and then I got sacked. So most of my experiences in rugby are pretty good, apart from injuries and all those other challenges you have along the way. But I suppose just as much as I'll highlight some of the good things and some of the successes, I think it's really important that we're learning from the things that aren't done well. So I've got just as many of those in the bank, I think, as the positive ones as well. So why I'm here is to share some of those lessons in high performance sports environments and some of those lessons in leadership. So why are we all here? So my part, I think Mick showed this. Did everybody see this on Monday? Hands up if you've already seen this. So some of us haven't seen this. Okay, that's great. So my job, and just a small part, is to help inspire our purpose, help bring our purpose to life, which is inspire our nation. I'm sure you guys are inspired by our men every time they take the field. Also trying to inspire belief in what's possible for us. We certainly believe as a coaching team that our boys, our men, our team can win this World Cup in 2 years' time. If we played next week, probably not. So we've got a little bit of work to do. Yeah. And we drive that through motongane manda, being a man of strength. Whether that's on the field or whether that's off the field. And like most of us, we go through our planning sessions, we bring all this to life and it's really exciting. Yet they're still just words on a piece of paper at the moment. So the challenge for us, and this will be highlighted through the Crusaders model, is how do we bring these values to life every day? So we talk about James 1:22-25, being doers of the word, not only hearers. So the consistency in our actions every day, bringing those values to life. Otherwise, they're just words on a piece of paper. Okay. And the three, we went through an exercise last year in 2024, and we got some feedback from our players. Where do you think we're at? What do you think we're capable of, and what's it going to take? And these were the foundation roots that our players come up with. Coaches, if we're going to raise the standard, we need to show respect every day. We need high levels of discipline, and we need to do what we say, and integrity. There's a Māori proverb, whakatauki, in New Zealand, and it goes, ko te piku o te māhuri, te rā te tupu o te rākau. And that proverb says, the shaping of the sapling will determine the growth of the tree. So it's our job as coaches, as managers, as supporters, for your team to nurture the environment. We fertilise the soil, we water the soil, we let the light in, we leave space for our tree to grow. Yeah. And that's our job as leaders. I just want to share, because a lot of people talk about culture. I mean, Fijian culture is world class. But how do we transition that into a world class performance culture? It's a little bit different. Yeah. So how do we merge the two together? Being respectful of our cultural capital that sits there, but also pushing the limits of high performance to get us to the top. So people often talk about culture. For me, and it's a little bit of a definition from the dictionary as well, a collective way of being shaped by the shared beliefs, values, behaviours, customs, and language and traditions that characterise a group of people. So this is the way that it actually is. So a lot of people will talk about this is going to be our culture. We actually don't know until we're living it. Culture is a byproduct of the environment that we create. Inside of that sits our people, the most precious resource that we can have. So we hear a lot of people talk about, yeah, we're people focused, we're family focused. And when the pressure comes on and we keep getting busy staring at the scoreboard, that's when we forget about that, eh? That's when that is the most important. Only our people can turn things around in times of struggle. And the most successful teams who sustain success over time can ride those tough patches out because our people go together. On the outer layer of the people are our leaders, the ones who cultivate the environment and create the conditions for our people to flourish and a culture to emerge. So guardians of our vision and values, responsible for creating conditions that connect their people to a shared purpose and enable a culture to thrive. They inspire others to follow and commit by leading it and living it with consistency every day. So just in your groups, I just want you to have a small reflection. Who would be the most impactful leader that you have come across on your journey? That might be in a sporting environment, that might be in another work environment. Just a quick 30-second reflection, and then just share with the person next to you. For me, my goal as a leader is to inspire belief. How do I inspire belief in the next person that they can go and achieve something special? They can achieve their dreams. And then the job as a coach or a mentor or as a support staff is to give them the tools to go and do that. I just bring us back to attention, if that's okay. So the reason I ask those questions is because we're around leadership every day. And sometimes when we talk about growing leaders, that can become a little bit overwhelming when we get all this theory chucked at us. Theory leadership. But we have leaders in front of us every day. So people often ask me, hey, coach, who was the best coach you had? Or who's the best leader you've worked with? Or who's the best mentor you've had in life? People are expecting a Wayne Smith. certainly probably the best rugby coach. Steve Hansen, probably the highest EQ, bringing his team like this. Graham Henry, schoolmaster, very strict, very good coach. Robbie Deans, proud Crusader man. So I've been coached by some of the best to have ever coached the game. So very privileged to have had that experience. But for me, it's these two ladies. This is my grandmother here. She was 18 years old when she got on a boat from Rarotonga in Takitumu to Fiji, via Fiji, and then out to New Zealand. 18 years old, one suitcase, not knowing what she was getting herself in for. She'd been talking to one of her friends who had made that trip a year earlier around some opportunities in New Zealand. Life was pretty tough in the Cook Islands. So she had the courage to make that call, and without that decision, I wouldn't be here. So I think about inspiring courage and inspiring belief, and when things get tough, I don't have to look any further than my grandmother. This is her, the most empathetic lady. So she gave us many gifts, but one of the most important gifts she gave us was empathy, love and care, regardless, unconditional, a true strength. So I'm grateful for that. This is my mother, Christine Maria, and this is her in this photo with my brother and I. My brother was representing the Crusaders coaching staff, and I was down in Dunedin coaching the Highlanders. This was about a month before my mother passed away. But when we talk about high performance and we talk about leadership, for me there's none better. So we grew up in a house, 2-bedroom house. I'm the youngest of 3 boys, and we didn't have much. But what we had, she made sure we're really proud of. We had 1 car. We had a pretty house that was sort of falling down. We had raggedy couch and raggedy old cushions and all that sort of stuff. But she would pick those cushions up every day. She would fluff them. She would put them on the couch. So she was setting a standard for us. Our shoes weren't allowed in the middle of the lounge. They go at the door, son. Your school bag doesn't go in the middle of the floor, that goes in the cupboard. So all those little disciplines. So when I talk about leadership, and I think about how those things helped me become an All Black, it certainly wasn't through talent. There were far more talented players than me out there. But it's through the discipline and the habits and the standards that my mother installed in us that allowed me to go and maximise everything that I had. So I've been coached by some amazing coaches, but here are 2 of the best for me right here. So leadership is all around us. It's not just the people on the TV, the people with the big salaries. Some of the best leaders are right in front of us. And for me, when I reflect on my leadership journey, like my mum didn't have a flash title, my nana didn't have a flash title, but they didn't need that to be an impactful leader. So we all lead through our actions. And I put some footprints up here. So people are either going to follow you or they're not. Those footprints are either going in the right direction, based on your values, or maybe the wrong direction. And the challenge for all of us as leaders is to create footprints that powerful, that are long-lasting, that people will step into and follow. So I just want to share a personal story of one of the Fijian staff, flying Fijian staff that I met last year. You don't need a flash title to be an impactful leader. And this is a man, Dan Balawa. A lot of you will know Dan Balawa. You've probably seen Dan Balawa come over to training early before the team and get the field set up, have everything ready. So when the players turn up, they have everything they need to focus on their job. So this is Dan transporting the kit to training. This is him setting up a management meeting on the first night we got in. So Terry didn't have to worry about doing that. Terry can remain focused on leading the meeting. Every little action impacts performance. This is Dan setting up the field for us, Dan organising the ice baths. So when the players have had a tough training like we did yesterday, they can go back into the ice baths and we can recover like a tier 1 team. And this is Dan making sure we've got the ball. The coaches are pretty fussy around the balls. I'm certainly pretty fussy around the balls. But Dan always takes photos, lets us know how many balls we've got, where they are, so we've got everything we need to go and do our job. Inspiring that feeling that drives an action. which leads me nicely into the next slide around we can't have high performance without trust. Trust is everything. But our story here from Tailevu is around trust being built. Trust being built through action. Being inspired through action, being inspired through leadership. So what that might look like, as an example, we're supposed to be talking about the Crusaders and giving away all the Crusaders' secrets. There's actually no secrets. Sorry to disappoint you. It's actually about doing these things, not saying these things. It's about doing these things and really understanding what connection's all about. Connection to your team, your roots, your vuvale, your values, connection to your identity, your purpose, and then connection with each other. And without that, without everybody being on the same page and aligned, it's hard to have trust. The next part is clarity. And this has been an area of growth I see for us, certainly inside the environment. So I talked before around, am I clear on what success looks like? Like our goal, our vision is to win the World Cup in 2027. That doesn't mean we're going to win the World Cup in 2027, because we can't control that. But what it does, it creates a mentality now. It creates a mindset for every person to strive towards and be present on the journey. And win, lose or draw at the World Cup. Imagine this, sitting in your village, watching the Flying Fijians in 2 years' time in a World Cup final. Yeah, and we may win it. That's the goal. We may draw and have to go into extra time and win. We may lose. Yeah, it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is how we get there and what we do along the way, because that's within our control. That's us being doers of the word and bringing it to life. So am I clear on what we're trying to achieve and what success looks like? Do I understand my role? Because I've got to be really clear on my role. Do I understand the key roles of the people around me? Because I can't do it by myself. Coach Mick can't do it by himself. Mr. Sande can't do it by himself. Mr. Koli Sawabu can't do it by himself. We all go together. So this is where all our little parts connect. Come back to connection. If we're going to win that World Cup, we need to take all of Fiji with us. Connection, we're clear on the roles, and we're clear on what we're trying to achieve and how we do that together.